Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. Today we are exploring waking up in 5D.
Ooh, that sounds intriguing.
It is. We'll be drawing from the book with the same title.
By Maureen J. Germain.
Right. And we've got a bunch of other sources too. Articles, interviews, commentaries, like a whole constellation of perspectives on this 5D thing.
Sounds like we're in for a wild ride.
Buckle up. Because we're going to unpack what 5D is, how it might be showing up in your life already.
And how you can kind of like tune into it.
Exactly. So first off, what is 5D?
Well, the book describes it as, imagine going beyond your everyday experience, like leveling up your awareness.
Kind of like transcending the humdrum of 3D reality.
Yes, it's a dimension of consciousness where like joy and bliss are the norm. And you feel this deep interconnectedness with, well, everything.
That sounds pretty amazing. And how does Saint Germain explain this in like a tangible way?
She uses this beautiful analogy of Queen Anne's lace.
Oh, I love those delicate flowers.
Yeah, they are. And from afar, they look like one single flower. But up close, you see this intricate network of tiny blooms, all connected.
So it's like zooming in and realizing there's way more going on than we initially perceive.
Precisely. 5D is about seeing those hidden connections, realizing that everything is intertwined in this intricate web.
That's a really cool way to visualize it. And here's where it gets really interesting. Saint Germain suggests that some of us might already be experiencing 5D without even realizing it.
Oh, tell me more.
She lists some really intriguing signs, like, have you ever had trouble waking up from sleep? Or even just a nap?
Oh, all the time, especially on Mondays.
Right. Well, Saint Germain says that's because in 5D, sleep becomes this time for deeper connection with, like, other versions of ourselves.
Whoa, like other me's out there. Okay, now I really have to hear more.
It's wild, right? And then there's this thing about objects disappearing and reappearing.
Like losing your keys and then finding them in the fridge.
Exactly. The book explains that as being momentarily in the fourth dimension.
Yeah.
Sort of a transitional space between 3D and 5D.
Fascinating. So maybe I was in the fourth dimension when I lost my phone the other day.
Maybe. And then there's those stories of, like, impossible safety during accidents.
Yeah.
Like someone narrowly avoiding a serious car crash.
It makes you wonder if there's some kind of higher force at play.
Right. It challenges our understanding of what's possible. So it seems like we might all have these latent 5D abilities just waiting to be activated. What do you think?
Absolutely. And Saint Germain gives us a roadmap in the book. It's not about like becoming superhuman.
More like tapping into our hidden potential.
Exactly. So how do we optimize our wake up to 5D?
Spill the secrets.
Okay, well, the book highlights a few key practices that are surprisingly simple. Like one is to look for beauty everywhere.
Sounds easy enough.
It is. It's about those aha moments, finding wonder in the everyday and connecting to that sense of interconnectedness.
Like appreciating the intricate pattern on a leaf.
Or the way sunlight filters through the trees.
Yeah. But she also talks about connecting with nature, like creating a special appreciation corner for nature spirits in your garden. What's that all about?
That might sound a bit out there for some, but it speaks to the idea that 5D opens us to a wider realm of beings and energies, like recognizing we're not alone in this reality.
That's a pretty big shift in perspective. So it's about more than just appreciating the beauty of nature. It's about acknowledging the unseen forces at play.
Exactly. And there are other simple shifts too, like cultivating a mindset of gratitude.
Like being thankful for what we have.
Yes. And practicing presence, like being fully in the moment. These are powerful shifts in perspective that can make a real difference.
That makes sense. It seems like our mindset plays a big role in how we experience reality.
Absolutely. And Saint Germain digs deep into that in the book. She even talks about how emotions function differently in 5D.
Really? How so?
Well, she introduces this concept of blow to the heart.
Ooh, that sounds intense.
Not in a bad way, though. She describes it as a powerful catalyst for growth and shifting into 5D.
So those moments when you feel let down or disappointed, those could actually be opportunities to shed your ego and connect more deeply with the 5D reality.
Exactly. It's about letting go of expectations, and through that, finding deeper connection. She even tells a personal story about her husband and a Christmas present.
I'm curious to hear that story, but before we get into that, I'm also really interested in Saint Germain's emphasis on language.
Oh yeah, that's a fascinating part of the book. She believes that the words we use can either lock us into those old 3D patterns or open us up to 5D experiences.
So it's like our language shapes our reality.
Exactly. She provides some intriguing examples of phrases to avoid, like constantly saying, I have to.
Oh, I'm definitely guilty of that one.
Me too. But she suggests reframing those phrases to align with 5D consciousness. Like instead of saying I have to, you could say I choose to.
That's a subtle shift, but it feels really empowering. Okay, before we move on, there are a couple of concepts from the book that really caught my attention. Dragons
Oh, yeah, those are
and
fascinating.
serendipities.
What's Saint Germain's take on those?
Well, you might be surprised to hear that she presents dragons as real, interdimensional beings who can aid in clarity and communication.
Hold on, so you're saying dragons aren't just mythical creatures?
That's what she says. And they can be incredibly helpful allies on our 5D journey. Then there are serendipities.
Those are like happy accidents, right? Coincidences that work out in our favor.
Exactly. Think of them as the orchestrators of synchronicities, those seemingly chance encounters or events that have a profound impact.
Like when you're thinking about someone and then they call you out of the blue?
Yes. Imagine harnessing the power of serendipities to bring more joy into your life. But Saint Germain doesn't just talk about the fun stuff. She also tackles some pretty complex concepts, like the end of karma
That's a big one. What does she say about that?
and the nature of the time-space continuing.
Whoa. I'm already feeling my mind bending.
It's a lot to unpack, but we'll save those deeper dives for next
I
time.
can't wait.
So far, it seems like Saint Germain's approach to 5D is a blend of practical advice and mind-bending concepts.
It is. It's a really intriguing mix. I'm already starting to see things in a new light.
Me too.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see where this exploration takes us.
Same here. Let's keep diving.
Let's do it. So much to think about. It's inspiring to consider our potential to shift reality.
It is. And, the book really digs deep into some tough questions, like how can we reconcile this blissful 5D reality with all the pain and suffering in the world?
Yeah. If 5D is supposed to be so amazing, how come there's still so much negativity?
Right. Saint Germain acknowledges that. She explains that we're in a free will zone.
So we have the choice to align with our higher selves or to, make decisions that lead to suffering.
Exactly. But she emphasizes that humanity is evolving, and this shift to 5D, it's inevitable.
So we're on the right track, even if it doesn't always feel like it.
Yeah, she even suggests that we're already, pulsating back and forth between 3D and 5D.
Whoa. So those moments when you feel like a sense of joy or connection or just really clear, those might actually be glimpses of 5D.
That's a cool thought. It emphasizes that 5D isn't some far-off utopia. It's a state of being we can tap into now.
That's empowering. It makes you realize we have a responsibility to make choices that cultivate those 5D qualities.
Totally. And speaking of responsibility, Saint Germain also talks about the end of karma.
No more cosmic payback? Does that mean we can just get away with anything?
It's not about punishment or reward. It's about understanding that every experience serves our growth.
Interesting. So it's not about getting even, it's about learning.
Exactly. And she says that in 5D, we have the capacity to heal past traumas, both individually and collectively.
She even suggests that our actions in the present can alter past and future events. Mind-blowing, right?
It is. It speaks to the interconnectedness of time and the power of consciousness, which she explores even more in her discussion of the time-space continuum.
Yeah, that was one of the parts that really made me pause and think, what are some of the key takeaways about time?
Well, she shares insights from these beings called the Lords of Time.
Lords of Time.
They oversee the time-space continuum, and they emphasize that time is not linear like we perceive it. It's fluid and multidimensional.
So, to bend time?
It's not so much bending it as expanding our awareness of it, seeing it as a tool for creation rather than a rigid structure.
So we're not just passengers on a predetermined timeline, we're active participants.
Right. And the Lords of Time also highlight the coming end of suffering.
Oh, wow. What does that mean?
They actually state that humanity will no longer be able to create suffering for one another.
That's a bold statement. How do they see that happening?
It implies a transformation in consciousness,
Yeah.
a move towards compassion, understanding, and unity. Imagine a world where harming each other is just not possible.
Beautiful, but also hard to wrap your head around.
It is. It's a journey, and Saint Germain provides tools and practices to help us along the way.
Like what?
Well, she emphasizes making conscious choices in every moment, choices aligned with our highest selves.
So personal transformation contributes to this collective shift.
Exactly. And part of that is understanding the different dimensions. She provides a detailed overview of the first through fourth dimensions to give context for how everything connects.
Can you break that down a bit?
Sure. So the first dimension is self-awareness.
Makes sense. The second?
That's focused on outward expression. Then the third is where we experience duality and polarity.
That's the one we're most familiar with.
Yeah. And the fourth dimension, that's often associated with, strange occurrences.
Like those missing objects we talked about earlier.
Exactly. She describes it as a transitional space, a bridge between 3D and 5D.
A glimpse behind the curtain of reality.
Right. And by understanding these lower dimensions, we appreciate the unique qualities of 5D even more.
So what about the higher dimensions? Like what's beyond 5D?
Saint Germain describes dimensions 5 through 13. Each one represents a different level of consciousness.
There's so much more to reality than we can even imagine.
And here's the thing, we're already multidimensional beings.
Wait, hold on. You mean, like, there are other versions of us out there?
Yep. Think about it. Have you ever had a strong feeling of déjà vu or a vivid past life memory?
Now that you mention it.
She provides examples of how these multidimensional experiences play out in our lives. Synchronicities, past life memories, even encounters with other versions of ourselves.
So how do we navigate that? It sounds confusing.
It can be, but she gives tips for recognizing when you're interacting with other versions of yourself and for managing the emotional complexities.
It's like a roadmap for uncharted territory.
Exactly, and she doesn't stop there. She provides instructions for activating our higher chakras.
Those are the energy centers that connect us to these higher dimensions, right?
Yes, she guides readers through meditations, visualizations, energy work.
One of the techniques I've heard about is the Merkaba meditation.
Oh, the Merkaba, that's a powerful one. It's an energy field that surrounds your body.
I've seen images of it, like a star tetrahedron.
Yep, 2 interlocking pyramids of light. It's considered a vehicle for ascension by some.
Okay, so how do you actually activate this Merkaba?
She provides a detailed explanation of how to do it through breathing, visualizations, and mudras.
Sounds intense.
It can be, but the effects are profound. Increased energy, expanded consciousness, connection with your higher self.
And she talks about the 8th chakra, too, the one above the head.
Yes, that's your gateway to the higher dimensions.
So by opening that chakra, we can connect with our 5D selves.
That's the idea. And she gives instructions for activating it through meditation and energy work.
It's like stepping into a wider reality.
Exactly. A reality where we're not limited by 3D constraints.
That's incredible. But also, it sounds like a journey that takes courage.
It does. It requires commitment and a willingness to embrace the unknown.
But the rewards sound worth it.
They are. It's a call to awaken to our true nature as multidimensional beings, to co-create a reality that reflects love, joy, and harmony.
Before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, there's one more thing I want to touch on.
What's
moving beyond polarity? It seems like everywhere you look, there's division and conflict. How do we move past that?
That's a key concept. She emphasizes that 5D is a realm of unity, where we transcend the duality and conflict of 3D.
But how do we get there when we're constantly bombarded with messages of division and fear?
It takes effort and a willingness to challenge our beliefs. For example, she encourages us to avoid engaging in political debates or gossip.
Things that feed into the negativity.
Right. And she suggests reframing our language, avoiding phrases that reinforce duality, choosing words that reflect unity and harmony.
So it's not just what we think or feel, but how we express it.
Exactly. Our language has power.
And as we shift our language, we shift our consciousness, moving closer to 5D awareness.
It's a journey of transformation.
A journey of awakening to our true nature as beings of love, light, and infinite potential.
And it starts right here, right now.
It's incredible how much power we have to shape our reality.
It is. And Saint Germain offers a bunch of practical tools to help us do that.
One of the big ones is connecting with our higher selves.
Right.
To be honest, I'm not entirely sure what that means. Like, who or what is our higher self?
Think of it as the wisest, most evolved version of you. The part that's always connected to, like, divine wisdom and guidance.
So it's like an inner guru,
Yeah.
always there to offer support.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And Saint Germain has this detailed 6-week practice for developing a strong connection with your higher self.
What does that involve?
It's a blend of meditation, journaling, and asking specific questions to get guidance from your higher self.
So actually having a conversation with your wisest self.
Exactly. And she emphasizes that this isn't about blind faith or wishful thinking.
It's about a real relationship.
Yes. Learning to trust its guidance and act on the insights you receive.
Does she give any examples of how this can impact our lives?
Tons. Like making better decisions, healing emotional wounds, even manifesting your desires.
That's powerful stuff. But life isn't always easy. We all face fear and doubt.
Of course.
How does Saint Germain address that?
She explains that fear is often rooted in a misperception of reality.
Like thinking we're separate from our source of power?
Exactly. Feeling alone and unsupported. And she provides strategies for overcoming fear, reframing your thoughts, connecting with your higher self, taking inspired action.
So it's not about ignoring fear, it's about moving through it.
Yes, with courage and support. She even shares a story about a time she faced a potential threat and
Oh.
overcame her fear by connecting with her inner strength.
We all have that capacity, don't we?
Absolutely.
And as we overcome fear, do we become more open to new possibilities?
For sure. When fear's grip loosens, you're more willing to take risks, step outside your comfort zone, embrace the unknown.
That's when things get interesting.
It is, that's when the magic happens. And Saint Germain gives all these examples of synchronicities, serendipities, even miracles that can occur when we align with our higher selves.
It all comes back to that.
Right, and she also highlights choosing to focus on the positive, even when things are tough.
So shifting our perspective from what's wrong to what's right,
Exactly. You create a more harmonious reality that way.
like attracting the good stuff.
Yes. Now, something else that's interesting is her perspective on abundance.
We often think of it as money, but is there more to it?
She says abundance is a state of mind, a belief that you're worthy of receiving all you desire.
It's not about what you have, it's how you view it.
Exactly. And she offers tips for aligning with that energy. Practicing gratitude, visualizing your desires, taking action, and she also emphasizes generosity.
Generosity, how does that fit in?
It's about recognizing that we live in a universe of abundance.
The more we give, the more we receive.
Right. Giving amplifies the flow.
So taking all of this into account, what does waking up in 5D really mean for us?
It's a message of hope and empowerment. We're not limited by our circumstances.
We have the power to create a better reality.
Exactly. It's a call to awaken to our true nature, connect with our higher selves, step into our potential.
And as we do that, we contribute to a collective shift.
Yes. Creating a world where love, peace, and joy prevail.
It's a joy.
It is, but a rewarding one.
To everyone listening, I encourage you to explore these ideas.
Experiment with the practices. Discover your own path to waking up in 5D.
And remember, you're not alone on this journey.
You have support every step of the way.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep expanding, keep shining your light.
Did you get any of that?